got somebody who's not exactly ugly tonight, and we all feel pretty ugly ourselves. Speaking of myself. Listen, can I just have a show of hands for those who are here for the first time? Okay, quite a lot. So please, as you can see, this is fantastic value for £5. And 10 if you do it after the 30th person. But nowhere in London will you get the kind of list of speakers we will be having. We've got Tessa Keswick tomorrow, and we've got Jeremy Clarkson, we've got Jude Law, we've got Jeremy Irons, we've got Michael Caine. They're all coming, so buy your tickets, and it is the best value of money. And the idea is two things. Number one, to present you somebody who has led an exceptional life, which can be inspiration to everybody. And the China aspect is really not central to these talks, but I know from my compatriots that they also want to know how people succeed in the West, which is the rage and ambition of every other Chinese. And the other point is to let you, the general public, to be able to ask our speaker questions. So we're going to devote at least half the time for you to go and ask Eva a question. I will make sure that they're intelligent and that they're not scandalous. And the other night we had somebody who asked a question which annoyed Naomi Campbell, and she says, "Are you a journalist?" And she was spot on, he was a journalist, and everybody booed. So today, if any journalist asks a question is identified as such, we can all boo them, okay? But we'll be kind. Listen, I want to ask you, Eva, that picture was taken probably 25 years ago, but you look exactly the same. I mean, have you had surgery, or do you use a cream which is ageless, or what is your secret that makes you look as beautiful as you were 25 years ago? You look as if you've regressed in age,
okay,
sort of female Dorian Gray.
Thank you. I'll take it as a compliment. I don't know, they're reading your glasses. No, it's, I have no idea. Gee, what am I supposed to answer to that?
Well, you've just naturally, you don't live a life where you have to diet, for example. Do you care about what you eat?
Okay, yes, if it's not just for the appearance, I'm all natural. I don't believe in plastic surgery, if that's the question. I do look after what, I don't exercise, so I'm naturally fit, so to say. And,
but how do you become naturally fit if you don't exercise?
Well, I just am. I'm lucky. I have a good DNA. I've been very sporty as a little girl. And I think there's a muscle memory which I believe in. That's why.
And you have had 3 children as well.
Yes,
so
but yes.
When you had your children, did you feel as if you needed to work a bit harder or eat less after you had your children?
No, I wish. I have 3 boys. It's an everyday exercise. I actually, it's like you really are on your toes, running and following their daily schedules. So it's you don't need to exercise.
But when you were young, I mean, this is the question everybody will ask. Did you know that you were going to be a model? Did you realize that you were not exactly ugly? I mean, when you looked in the mirror when you were 6 years old, did you think, well, I look quite pretty, I want to be a model, or I want to be an actor or a singer? Or did it not occur to you?
I think a beauty that is appreciated in the fashion industry is a beauty that is not a beauty that you get recognized for, especially as a young teenager. Usually girls that make it in the industry are the ugly ducklings because they're tall and skinny or kind of different. So, I don't know, but I was not the pretty girl. I was skinny back then. That's because it's my natural.
You were born in the Czech Republic.
Yes, has nothing to do with that.
There's a lot of very beautiful women in the Czech Republic. I mean, did you have enough to eat?
Exactly.
and
No, I had a sister who was the beauty, who was
Really?
a luscious, gorgeous woman that every boy was after.
and did she become a model
No,
eventually?
she didn't.
What happened to her?
Well, I think that kind of beauty ages really badly. You know, it's just that kind of beauty that's gorgeous at the age of 14, 15, 16. I mean, she's still beautiful.
So what
She's
was her-
super beautiful.
But when did you become? When did you actually become a model? I mean, did you become a model because somebody scouted you, or did you apply to be a model with a model agency?
Okay, there was the real beginning. Yes, I was found by an agency in Paris, all by mistake, but how I got to that place was from my little small town back in communist Czechoslovakia. There was a lady that was making, sewing her own clothes, and she was entrepreneurish enough to show them to the ladies around the town and other towns, and she was just invited throughout the whole Czech Republic. And she would pick the most beautiful girls from my little small town, and she picked my sister. And I always wanted to be wherever my sister wanted to be, so I'm like, I'll go, and I'll iron the clothes. So I don't have to. It's like, no, we don't want you. Like, I'll go and I'll iron. They're like, okay, that sounds interesting. So I went, and I used to make my own clothes. And I put on my best outfit that day for the ironing. And they're like, this is really cool, we have to show it. I'm like, yes, okay. They're like, but if only I will be the model walking. And then, I don't know, just
And then you were sent, how were you sent to Paris?
Well, I won the audience because I just kept laughing on the stage, so people loved me, and then they just kind of embraced me, and then I was walking with them around and went to Prague, where there was a fashion designer from Prague who saw me amongst these girls. He's like, I want you to do my show. So I went to Prague, to the big town, and did his show, and then one of the girls was going to the beauty contest. She's like, come with me, so I did.
And you won that as well.
Yeah.
And then you were then sent to Paris as a prize.
Yes.
And what did you do in Paris? I mean, how old were you then?
I was 16.
You were 16. So here it is, 16-year-old girl, first time in Paris, won a competition. Did you join an agency, or were you shepherded by your agency from Prague?
Well, the agency that organized the contest was...
There's a very good sign that she's taking off her clothes.
was from Paris, so you don't really have a choice, because if you win, you're like kind of attached to that agency. So I was 16. It was quite a departure, because it was still a communist country. It was impossible. It was unheard of, becoming a model or being a model. So I had to deal with the government to obtain the permission to leave for 6 months, and from the schools, and even from my parents. My mom was against it. I was a little young girl. And my dad was the swimmer. He was a champion of Czech Republic. And that was the only culture we could really believe into, was the sport. So he was like, of course she's going. This is her, because he could travel through his championships to France and Germany. And he's like, yes, she's going to go. She has to go, and she'll be back.
And when you were there, how did you meet anybody who is now famous models now? I mean, during the time when you were in Paris, who was around, or whom did you remember as being already fairly successful, or did you meet who've become friends of yours today in the modeling world?
Well, it was already the top models of the 90s were established.
Well, so when you went,
Claudia, it was
Naomi,
it was
Cindy
Seymour.
Did you meet Naomi Campbell?
Yeah. I got to do the fashion show.
Was she nice, or was she rather temperamental?
She was nice. She was very nice. She's always nice.
Yes.
She's always been supportive of me as a young beginner, and I have.
So those were already established figures, and you were an acolyte, as it were.
Oh yeah, well they make me feel like it sometimes. Yes. But
and then when did the break come? When you were chosen for the Wonderbra advert? What age were you?
91, I think it was 1991.
So how old were you then?
So that was 19.
19. So quite young. Yes. Who spotted you? I mean.
But you know, I mean, Wonderbra was not an establishment that people wanted to be part of. It was a commercial advertising. You know, it's a lingerie ad. It wasn't the Versace campaign or the Vogue cover. It was something that, you know, I don't know. It wasn't. I don't know. I mean, it was. It turned out to be something memorable and something.
When was the first time you knew that it was going to be an iconic advertisement that probably caused more car accidents than most?
Yeah, well, exactly. I think, you know, for just accepting the job, it was just a job, but it was this whole thing that you were saying, the public talk about it, the feminist movement against it, you know, the
How did you cope with all that when you were criticised for bringing disrepute to the female body, as it were?
It was super cheeky and super smart because the slogans accompanied the ad. And
Hello,
it was,
boys.
Hello, boys, and so on. Look me in the eyes, I said in the eyes. And
Look in the eyes. That's a diversion.
It was just different to any other advertising, and the pictures themselves looked like snapshots from a movie. They were not, you know, very still and retouched. It was just really alive and really. It was not about the product.
But after that advertisement, people took a bit more notice of you than before, obviously.
Oh yes, definitely. It definitely put me on the map. Yes,
And,
because it was an international.
Yves Saint Laurent and Versace and Valentino, but they all clamber to you and say, will you come and model for us?
Not really, no, I think. I think it's a different passage. I think I got the recognition for being a person that sells products, that can sell as an image. So you had the 90s models that had the, you know, the Cindy Crawford and Claudia Schiffer and Naomi Campbell, and then I was the novice, the beginner, but I got my public recognition. So it wasn't coming from the fashion industry, it was coming from the public, which was different because you became a public or household name through the covers, and you know why Claudia and Cindy and Naomi became who they were, because they, anyway, it was a different.
That was a different point, is that you became a model who sold products. It wasn't a model who represented products which were already famous.
I think I was the model that talked to the people. It was not, I didn't talk to the fashion industry yet, and they were definitely not very supportive.
Really?
Yes, not at the beginning.
Not at the beginning, but eventually they
well, eventually yes, because I had to, I mean, I did go through a big change of image when I dyed my hair dark, when I did that photo shoot with Mario Testino for Face with Karen Gottfeld, and that just made people realize that I don't look just like this pin-up bombshell.
That you can look different.
That I can look different, yeah. So,
and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And was Mario Testino the photographer who made that possible for you?
Yes, he did, absolutely. I mean, I think without that shoot, my career would have not been where it is today, and it was because of that diversion or that change, you know, of.
I mean, Mario Testino, in your mind, must be an extremely creative person, as lots of other models have testified.
Oh, he's amazing. He's lovely, but I think also for him it was a big breaking point, because also he was put in that, you know, box that was like sexy and Brazilian and kind of hot. And then with this photo shoot, I don't know if you were aware, it was just dark hair, no makeup, daylight, like it was super grunge kind of, and different to his work and different to my work. So I think we were both put on a map that we can be, you know, different.
Well, Mario has agreed to come and talk at China Exchange. I had an email from him only 2 days ago saying that he will have to fix a date, but it will have to be in autumn because he's going to be back in Peru and so forth.
Yeah.
But I hope that he will come one day. So after that, your career went on a steadier course, as it were, with the brand names and so forth, much more. Is that right?
Yeah. After that photo shoot, which was 1998, so from the first Wonderbra, which was
I mean, you were, you know, in the 90s and the turn of the century, there were these extraordinary designers who did not really design clothes as such, or only design clothes, but they made the presentation of clothes in a dramatic way. So you know, there was theatre in the fashion shows and so forth. Were you excited by all that drama that accompanied the fashion shows, which really wasn't just showing off clothes, but also everything that went with it? John Galliano, Alexander McQueen, and all that. You must have been in the thick of it. Did you think that you were in an era that was changing fashion, or the presentation of fashion in the way in which fashion shows were done?
I don't think I thought about it back then. I think we had as of today, looking back, I think we had an amazing part of fashion industry that I don't think will be repeated again. We were lucky because it was like you're saying, it was about creativity. It wasn't about the products. It was not so money driven. It was really about you know, being inspirational and creative, and coming from photo shoots, ad campaigns, or fashion shows. I mean, Galliano or Terry Mugler, or you know, everyone was just, and it was a big event and party. You know, we were just having fun. It was about fun.
You loved it.
I had the best time of it. I had the best part of it. I had the best part of it. Yeah.
But what would you say is the one different thing about modeling now and modeling at the height of your career, you know, when you were in the mid-20s and the 30s? I mean, today, there are hundreds of girls who want to be a model. They will inevitably ask you what you need to do and so forth. But forgetting about that, what has changed today? I mean, if you had a girl who wanted to say to your mother or her auntie, I want to become a model, what is the first thing that you would tell them to do?
I would definitely tell them to continue their school and to have a passion and to have some sort of a hobby. I think, you know, even for me, even back then, I think fashion industry for a girl, for becoming a model is not about longevity, or it's not about creating a career. I'm very lucky. It's very rare. I still don't know why, but it's you know, today the whole system, the fashion system, but I think also the whole economy system in general is very seasonal. You know, like people get tired of whatever's in fashion today for whatever, for phones, for trends, for all kinds of trends.
I see here that you've also started making movies, although as far back as 1995, and when you started off as Gerard Depardieu, was he fun? Was he amusing? I mean, he seems to be rather vivacious character, rather hot.
He is vivacious. He was great. He was very supportive. It was my first movie, and I had 2 scenes with him. And
were they love scenes?
No, they were not love scenes. They were fighting scenes. They were like seducing scenes, and not taking my clothes off with my words. I'm trying to persuade him to choose me for this role because he's an owner of a cabaret, and I'm one of the dancers, and you know, I'm trying to take the role of his wife. And so he was very good. He was just trying to become.
And then in 2004, called Modigliani with Andy Garcia, and he is a hot spot, isn't it?
Very technical. I mean, I think he's a great actor, but he was very technical.
He was very serious.
Very prepared, super prepared. I think every breath that, you know, he takes on camera has been practiced and rehearsed. So he's extremely prepared.
So you started giggling and he didn't
Well,
like
I'm super spontaneous and very, very spontaneous, and it was just not working. He was giving me the looks. He was like, you know, you have to, it's like, you know what you're saying? I'm like, yes, I'm
But do you still have aspirations to do more movies? I mean, if somebody came up to you and said, you know, read a script, we want you to be in the movie, would you be excited?
I love doing movies. I think for me it's a therapy. It's about finding out who you are, because learning or becoming a different person, different character, you're learning about yourself because you're questioning how come this person would react a certain way while you wouldn't. And so it's really about growing as a person. It's quite spiritual actually.
And how about theatre? Have you ever done any theatre before?
No. I haven't
Would
been
that
offered.
interest you? A live theatre?
I have been offered few roles back in Czech Republic and also here in England.
But you turn it down?
Very complicated. It's something that you have to rehearse for 2-3 months, and then you have to be on twice a day for the 6 months. So it's Saturdays, Sundays. I think you have one morning off. I think it's Thursdays, I don't remember, but it was just really hard to, you know, to sign up for.
Schedule.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've gone through your very glamorous life very briefly, but because I wanted to let the audience have a few chances of asking a question. Has anybody got an intelligent question to ask? Yes. Oh, very happy. Well, 1 minute. Okay, you just get the mic so that people can hear you.
It's a pleasure to hear you speak, Eva. I was very interested to hear earlier on in the evening when you said about the difficulties, you told us the difficulties you had getting out of Czechoslovakia, and you said your father promised that you'd be back in 6 months. Did you ever go back?
No, I didn't go back.
Would you be kind enough to share the reason why? Was that because of the
Yeah,
structure?
no, absolutely. No, he just thought it was my chance. He just like assumed that this is something that's not going to be for forever. That was the purpose why he said she'll be back. This is just for her to have an experience, to travel the world and go out there. I was a very independent child, so it wasn't a problem on that kind of angle. But I started to work immediately. I mean, slowly. I didn't start with the cover of Vogue and so on, but I started to work, and yeah. So it was just the reason that my career did take off.
When did the Czech Republic become non-communist?
It was 1 month later. I left in September. Well, I left in September '89, and in October we had the revolution.
Was it? Yes. Yeah. A man and woman and a man and another man.
Dobrý večer.
Dobrý večer.
Are you Czech?
No, I speak a little bit, but...
Stop showing.
I've got to make a good impression.
Please, get on with it.
You were one of the sort of big icons for the Czech Republic the past 20 years, and last week the Czech Republic applied to change its name informally to Czechia.
Yeah, what was that? I just
Exactly.
today.
I was going to ask you if, because I'm sure you still get people calling it Czechoslovakia around the world.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Because to me it's going to confuse the issue again as
I
to
think
what the issues were.
Bohemia is more relevant. And Czechia is like a Czech expression for Czech Republic, really. And so it's, I mean, it's very provincial in a way. I don't find it, you know, Czechia. It sounds like Chechnya.
Yeah.
I mean, people
That's
might
probably-
mispronounce it and say that, you know. So I think people when they hear Bohemia, they kind of go back to that world more than even Czech Republic.
And just as a short follow-up, do you think how's the view of Czech Republic changed, do you think, from when you went over 20 years ago? I'm sure people didn't know much about it. How has it changed from where you work?
Do you still
I
go
love
back?
going back, yes. I have all my family there and I'm very, very close to them. And it's difficult, I think. You know, when I left, I was not politically or kind of engaged, you know, to understand, you know, how difficult it is to find yourself through work. But I find that people are, you know, not ambitious enough, but through hard work, you know, they don't invest in education, they don't invest in like becoming better people. Yes, not enough in that way. They just assume that after simple, basic education, they go back and expect to have great work or miracles to happen. I think the new generation is kind of expecting miracles to happen. You like fast money, quick money, you know, something, yeah, it doesn't exist.
Good evening, thank you for sharing all of this. I was wondering, was there a time in your career where you regretted choosing this career?
Yeah, quite often. It happens. It happens because it's a job that you really haven't studied. You know, it's something that is not, you can take credit for, really. I mean, I do take credit for sticking to it and, you know, yeah, I guess sticking to it.
I mean, you were bored sometimes, were you?
No, it's not the boredom. It's just sometimes it's just like you just don't know. You know, it's not some. I don't know. I probably will refer to sport again. Like, you know that if you practice and you are the fastest, that you will be #1, so that you will achieve that cover of Vogue in a way, or the medal for the world champion. And in this industry, it doesn't exist. It just you depend on opinions on some people, you know, that are, you know, some stylists or some photographers or some magazines. So you never really know when you work or what your work is based on. So it's very unstable for, you know, if you are, I don't know,
But yet,
practical.
when you do become the cover of Vogue, you feel great because you feel as if you've become the champion. I mean, I think...
For the time, it's like, I don't know, I read once this thing that, I think George Clooney said that in this industry, in the show business, it's kind of a milk with an expiry date. It's just, you know, that's how long your career is for. You just, you know, as long as the next project is good, it's as long as the next one. So it's...
But you were on the cover of Vogue in Paris just 2 months ago, so they must love you still. Anyway.
You're very kind.
Was it 2 months ago? I saw it in Paris.
It was not a cover, but it was 16 pages. So.
How dare, limited to only 16. Yes.
Hi,
Stop smiling.
being in the fashion industry and working with so many designers, what advice would you give to emerging designers, and who is your favorite designer?
Oh, I really like Bella Freud. I go straight to it. She's an English designer. And I think what's missing, or where you guys lack, I mean, you might have a great talent, but I think fashion industry is not about that anymore, or it's not only about that. You need the other half, which is the commercial aspect of it, and unless you find that right hand, it's never going to happen for you. I mean,
So
it's so
you
sad.
think it's no longer artistic?
Well, it never has been, but
yeah.
no one, I mean, I don't know why they don't teach that at the schools. It's just they teach you how to create a collection and, you know, how to create a trend and how to do work with fabrics and how to do the pleats and I don't know what. But it's just, right?
I think nowadays the
They
focus
do.
is more conceptual designs. I think the universities are challenging that now. So.
Very challenging.
Yeah.
I mean, if people ask me, I said, don't change your career. That's what
Well,
I
ask David actually.
Oh,
Don't you
I-
have some fashion brands?
Yeah, I do, but I tell people not to touch it.
Well,
because-
you can turn to David and ask him for a job.
Yeah. All right. The other, yeah. You don't look as if you're in the fashion industry, the way you
Hello.
dress. What are you?
Okay.
What do you do?
I train. I'm a consultant.
Consultant. On what?
On body language.
Body language. All right, okay, go on.
Right, he writes about Wonderbra, the Hello Boys. It caused a lot of commotion and accidents, and it made it the poster of the century. Now, you said that this particular word liberated and empowered women. I read this statement.
Sorry, I missed those 2 words. Was very what?
This Wonderbra word,
Yes.
Hello Boys. This particular word, liberated women or empowered women. How do you qualify it? Take a step.
Well, I think women were. You want to answer?
No. I'm just trying to articulate his question, which was asked rather badly and with bad diction. I think what you're saying is that the Hello Boys advertisement, the iconic one, in a way empowered women rather than degraded. And do you agree? And if you do, how does it empower women?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you for the translation.
Thank God for that.
I understood you. I think it's, I mean, lingerie ads, you know, is, you have the woman, you know, in her underwear, you know, very, as a subject of desire. And I believe that this advertising was completely about the opposite, you know, and it was reinforced by the slogans, by the words attached to the images. So the images were kind of the same, they were a little bit more, really? No. They were more, but they had a sense of humor, I think. They were black and white, they looked, as I said, very snapshotty, like someone just took the picture, so it became more human and more real. And then the slogans, and I think the slogans came from the woman and talking about, you know, like, it was trying to steer away from the sexual aspect of you know, what lingerie is about. So I think it was yeah.
It put art a bit more upon the female body than the actual body itself. It gave you a fantasy, I suppose.
No, it didn't, David. It was.
All right, let's hear from the cheap seats at the back. Yeah, go on.
Hello, question from the cheap seats from the audience.
What nationality are you?
I'm German.
You're German, right? Okay.
Eva, you had a fantastic career as a model, but I'm sure you have contemplated what if I had not become a model but had done something else professionally. What would that be, you think?
Well, I do not know because I haven't. I
You're
don't
a sportswoman.
this, but
Sportswoman.
no, I wouldn't be a sportsman. I hated it. It was my father. And will and determination, and I have a lot of good discipline from it, and I believe that good discipline is hard to learn, or to learn, and it was a good base for lots of things. I think I was always into the photography and image, things that are visual, so if it wouldn't be modeling, I think it would have been something to do with like architecture or design or yes.
I think we've got enough of those. I think it would have been a devastation if you had actually not been involved. Yes. There's one person here. Yes, go on. Let's ask the man with the boy with the glasses. How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
14.
Close enough. Hey, Eva, I just want to kind of give a flip side to the questions I was asking maybe 2 or 3 questions ago. If you kind of had to repeat a day in your career, or maybe a moment that stuck out for you, like a really positive moment, is there one that kind of comes to mind?
No.
Your marriage, the day you had your board.
No, he's talking about my career.
career.
You misunderstood. It's, I would repeat probably. I don't know, probably all. I would maybe do them differently. Is that it? No, or just repeat the exactly same day again?
Something that brought you happiness.
Yeah, well, I would repeat definitely the shoot with Mario Testino again, the one for the face. But if yeah.
But there must be a moment when somebody said, wow, that Hello Boy has gone viral, as they call it nowadays. I don't know what they call it before. But there must be a moment when somebody rang you up and said, look, listen, this has gone beyond. I mean, who gave you that piece of news?
It was the company itself, Sarah Lee, who is the produces the Wonderbra. They went bust. I think the demand was 80% higher than they could deliver, and you know they're a giant American company, so they couldn't follow through with the demand. So that was good.
Yes. This one, that one. Yeah.
Eva, hi. I wanted to ask you about photographers. The vast majority of the photographers who are well known are men, but you also work with Alan von Unwerth. Is there a difference when a male photographer shoots you or a female photographer shoots you for you as a model to work, or does it come down for personality? And also, if you look back, apart from Mario Testino, who took your favorite images of you when you look back and you think, this captures me at my most beautiful, for example, for you as a woman? Thank you.
I love working with women. I think you let them into the intimacy even more because they are women. You know, I mean, Ellen gets away with getting into the back room and, you know, taking pictures of you while you're changing. So and you just let it happen because it's just, I don't know, you feel like she's your girlfriend, she's a friend. So it's, I guess they managed to get more intimate images, and not only intimate, like, you know, talking body-wise, but I think intimate also with the look and what you do. You just kind of are less in control. You know, with the boys, you always kind of show off a bit.
The second part of the question, bar Maria Testina, is there anybody who has taken a photograph that you would indubitably believe to be one of the best pictures of yourself?
Well, yeah, there's one picture I really, really like. No one really seen it. It's a picture by a Czech photographer called Tonostano. And it's a picture I've done actually before leaving Czech Republic. And I was 15, 16.
Well, there it is. Well, you have to search that. Yes, the lady in the pink, and then the blonde, and then that gentleman somewhere.
And I think it's because it was me. It was about me. It was not about being transformed into some other personalities.
It was before you became a model.
Yeah, it was a picture of me.
Yeah.
Yes, hi. I mean, about the photographs for the Wonderbra, I think the vibe was happiness and it was kind of joyful. It wasn't anything dark in there. And also they were very contemporary. I mean, if you look at it, you could be someone from the 60s or even like Brigitte Bardot kind of style. And it could actually be seen now today as, I mean, the whole thing of black and white and all that, I think it was very contemporary. Just to go back to what people were talking about it. My question is there a place where you, or a setting that you would have liked to be photographed and you haven't been yet? Do you have an image? Maybe, you know, an art gallery splashed with paint, or on the top of a building, or maybe another thing in your bucket list. If you're not a setting, any other thing you'd like to do?
I was just recently with Jürgen Teller, actually last month in Germany, and I forgot the name, the secretary in Bonn, because Bonn was the capital of Germany for a very short time. And, well, not very short time actually, for 48 years, 68 years I think, from 48 to 2000. And,
recently, very recently.
Yes, so, and everything was in this complex, and there was this secretary pavilion, and it was designed by this amazing American architect, and it was transparent, there's windows everywhere, it's like very LA, Los Angeles house, and it had nothing to do with the climate, or the purpose was, you know, safety and, you know, the government, but it was, we just took pictures in there, and
in Bonn?
In Bonn,
yeah. Okay, yes.
Good evening, Eva.
Hello.
Dobrý večer.
Dobrý večer.
It's very nice to meet you. You are more than who I look up to since I was a little girl, so it's lovely to see you in here. My question would be about your family, because you've got 3 sons. Do you actually teach them your language?
Absolutely.
So do they speak fluently?
Yes, they do. Well, fluently. The little one is probably too little, because they, you know, living here, they do speak English as well, and having an Italian father, they speak Italian as well, so it's a lot at the same time. But the eldest was 8 years, he speaks Czech really, really well. And the second one is getting there. The last one, yeah, a little bit.
Does your husband speak the Czech?
Very, no, nothing.
Nothing.
Same here, same here.
Are you Czech?
Yes, I am indeed.
It is. There was a man there somewhere. Yes, yes.
Hi.
You don't look like a man to me. It doesn't matter. Go
sorry,
on. No, you go first and I'll give it to you.
You mentioned before how unpredictable this career can be, but I think there are women who get to the top, and we know they will always remain icons. Are there any kind of characteristics or beliefs that they hold that you think separate them from the rest? Are there any kind of things you notice that are repetitive?
It's like having the key to the mystery of the success. It's I think you kind of understand the puzzle looking back, you know. I don't think you kind of know you are creating something iconic or timeless as you go along. I think, I don't know, I've always done things, or I've always chosen things to do with the aspect of longevity. I never wanted like instant gratification or things that would just satisfy my needs. I would always, you know, have some sort of a different plan or a long-term plan. And I think if you have that kind of guidance, I don't know, you kind of, you know, I think it will take you in the right direction. It's really hard to explain, but yeah.
Do you believe in luck? Being in the right place at the right time?
I believe luck is presented to you. I believe you have to see that it's happening. So I believe in luck to a certain extent, yes.
Hi, I'm a blogger. Just like to ask you, you mentioned about your favourite designer earlier on. Could you just tell us who the designer is or the designers are and why? And also I've got a second question. What do you think of the modelling scene today? You kind of touched on this earlier on, but like with the likes of like Gigi Hadid, and Kendall Jenner.
So what was the first question?
Who's your favourite designer?
My favorite designer. Designers, I like designers. I like designers that don't follow trends. I don't know. I mean,
so who is that?
This is Bella Freud. Thank you very much.
Bella
Freud.
Bella Freud, right?
Bella Freud. I
and
like
jacket.
Jacket is army jacket. Is just
Army jacket.
yeah.
And trousers. The pants.
Trousers. Bella Freud.
Bella Freud. Underwear. I will stop there. So Bella Freud obviously is one, yes.
Bella Freud, yes. I like Dolce & Gabbana. I think they're doing great things. Everyone can find their own taste in their closet. And the second question?
What do you think of the modelling scene today with like Gigi Hadid and Kendall Jenners? I mean, what do you think it's about for them today?
Well, I think the media, it's different.
Why do they pick these people who are not professional models, as it were? Is that what you're saying?
No, not really. I mean, they are professional models, but I mean, what is your opinion of the scene today with that they have to work in?
They have to work.
The social media, the different type of brands out there, because it's obviously different.
Well, it's exactly the same, I suppose.
Well, exactly.
I mean, you always get the media picking somebody, don't you?
Sorry?
You always get the media picking somebody. I mean, Kardashian, I don't understand her. She's hardly the most beautiful woman in the world. But, you know, that's the way it is.
Eva, would you mind giving your opinion?
Yes, absolutely. Is he a journalist? Anybody knows?
Yes.
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 Okay. What was the question? What do I think about Gigi Hadid and Kendall Jenner?
Yeah, and the
their
scene
success, why they're successful.
Yes, and the modelling scene that they work in today.
Okay. The modelling scene they're working today. I think, you know, models, I don't think there are any models. You know, I don't think there are any fashion or like, I think you have to be, okay, it's confusing. They have, oh gosh, it's this social media thing is where they're coming from. They have unbelievable fan page followers, and they...
Do you think it's becoming more democratic? Democratic in the view of numbers. So if you've got, 2 million followers, you become naturally successful.
Yes, because I think today it is almost not about the cover of Vogue. It is about how many followers you have.
That's the point, isn't it?
All the designers...
It's not now necessarily about the cover of Vogue. is about the social media and the way in which people connect peers to peers.
Sure. Eva, would you mind answering that for us?
Yes, absolutely. It's just the thing of as I said, the social media having its strength within this industry, but it's not something that I agree with, because I don't think it creates personalities that I think it's like an instant. No, sorry, I'm not.
Okay, I think it's getting very boring. The question, man in a white, a red shirt, yes. Something more interesting, please. Not so something more straightforward.
Yeah, it certainly is, don't worry. So Ava, you've managed to do what a lot of models aren't necessarily able to do, and you've had a very successful career in both photographic work and also runway. Which of the two arenas do you prefer to perform in, photographic or runway, and which is your favourite shoot, or what was your favourite catwalk, depending on which arena is your favourite?
I think these days you don't have to do the two anymore. I don't think it used to be like that either, like in the 50s, 60s. I think there was like a specific model for fashion shows, there was a specific model for photo shoots, and there was even specific models for like beauty, you know, I mean, it was like all separate jobs. And then I think in the 80s it just all became one thing, and now it's again kind of separating. One of my favorite shows was the Prada show. I don't know what year it was 2002. And what was the other one?
Just which arena I prefer.
Oh, which one I prefer? But it was different. I think when we used to do the shows, it was all of us hanging together, and we really had a good time. I mean, it all started with a glass of champagne. As soon as we walked in, we used to do our own makeup, and it was really about getting together. It was very social. I think now it's not. It doesn't have that aspect. So it was fun. It was great because we were all friends, and we were all. You know, it was coming from one show to another show and then having a dinner together. So it was just like the whole week hanging with your best friends. It was like a rat pack.
Yeah.
Hello, Eva. I just wanted to ask you about motherhood. What has it changed in you, and what is one advice you would give for your kids based on your career?
It is the best thing that ever happened to me. I have met men of my life. I think I've always believed in, you know, having children with a partner. I never was selfish enough, or I don't know, to do it on my own. I always wanted someone to be there for that. So I waited for that, and now we have 3 boys. It's full on. It's very hectic. It's you know, it's very chaotic, and but it really, I don't know, puts life in perspective, and you just, you know, work is very important. It's very important for me. I love to work, so, and children and families.
You recommend it. You recommend it. Motherhood.
Motherhood, do I recommend it? Obviously.
Yes. All right. Good. Yes.
Hi Eva.
Hello.
Hi, my question is more like an advice, like what advice would you give for an aspiring like young model but hasn't accumulated a wealth of experience in a portfolio, because I know they're quite expensive to have these days?
So a girl that doesn't have enough pictures in her portfolio, I would suggest to invest in photography. I don't know, someone to take pictures of her, do it yourself. You know, I think today with technology you can kind of almost manage to do your selfies that are a little bit more you know, aesthetical or visual and beautiful. And
that portfolio is important, isn't it?
Yeah, it is important. And I think you can do a lot of things. You can do video and then just get an image. You can get, you know, creative and simple makeup, hair, t-shirt, white t-shirt, you know, nothing crazy. I think people will do that for you, or for whoever is interested, but yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I had a question which was linked to the comment that you made about the photograph, so taking a stand on gender in the 90s. I wonder whether, building on that, what view you have. I know there's been lots of press around body image and size, and the size 0 and less, and whether you have a perspective on that. And also, you're somebody who, it sounds like, has worked into a sort of older age than one would normally, in inverted commas, expect models to do. And again, your views on that, is there a degree of ageism in the industry, or is that shifting? So body image and age.
So thin and age.
How I deal with it?
What your view of it is. Do you agree with people who say that modelling, you have to be size 0 to be a model, or you have to be between 20 and 30 to be
particularly?
But I think no one's saying that. Absolutely. I don't think. Well, I don't know. I think looking at magazines, you don't really see that. People don't promote that anymore. I think you have more and more. I don't know. Like recently, I have so many demands to do photos with my children. So it's all about family. It's very family oriented. It's about women that do have children. So it is not 16, 17-year-old girls. It's I think age and women that with experience is being embraced by the fashion industry, or by industry that sells image. So even advertising, even ad campaigns. Like makeup campaigns. You have Jane Fonda doing, and Julia Roberts. They're not any 20-year-old girls. So it's I think society is embracing women in general. Even at jobs, there's all these powerful jobs that now are given to women. All these CEOs are women. So there's a new designer on the Savile, that's a woman. So it's I think there's a whole new empowerment going on for women.
Yes, I mean even Burberry is Cara Delevingne is 20, and then you have Kate Moss who's over 40. So the combination of both also seems to merge slightly that boundary.
Right.
It seems like you have the possibility to choose your plans and your partners in business-wise, and how do you choose them? Which is the way you will say, this is a project that I want to follow and persuade, or this is something I'm not interested in, I don't want to do it. Especially nowadays, that it seems like everybody wants to do everything. The more you appear, the more you're successful. You seem to do exactly the opposite, choosing quality rather than quantity. And how do you do that?
Well, I've always chosen things thinking in long term, but I love working with my friends, so I love doing great images. With Peter Lindbergh, I had a great project with Jürgen Teller, with Mario, with Ines and Minut, we just did a campaign together. So images just stimulate me, and I love being part of it, and I love being transformed, and it is like acting. And I accept a lot of acting roles recently. And money-wise, I think it has to be something that I believe in. I'm the face of Dior, and the phrase, that they base the skincare line on is that any age is beautiful. It is not about youth, it's not about being plastic and perfect, and obviously any youthful child is like that, but it's about beauty, that you can have it at any age. You can be 40, you can be 50, you can be 30, so I love that.
Well, with a face like yours, that's easy to say, but it's difficult when we look at our mirrors. But there it is.
Hello. Thank you for sharing your story today. It's been great. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you is the definition of beauty, because quite clearly today you're beautiful within, and beauty is defined in many different ways, not just your aesthetics. Do you get frustrated where people sometimes miss the beauty within, with who you are, rather than just the picture of Eva, the photograph of the model?
Well, I think I'm a victim in a sense, in a little bit, because I think people have certain expectations of me looking a certain way, and then I kind of know it. So when I go out of the door of my house, I kind of try harder than what I would as for who I am. So it's, yeah.
To look what?
To look a little better, you know. I mean, I don't,
less beautiful.
well, I just don't look like this, you know, when I wake up. You know, I went to the hairdresser, got a blow dry, I done my makeup for an hour, and it was just, you know, it takes time. So or when I go out, I just, you know, sometimes I wouldn't, you know, do my hair, and I just, you know, there's certain pressure, sort of, to.
Beauty is within. It's not about what you look. I mean, what you portraying to them.
I agree, but that's not what you project when you go places and people take pictures of you. So, I mean, I do, you know, get that chance when I have a chance to talk to people, and I don't think they think that like you did. So, thank you very much for giving me the chance.
I put it this way, Chancellor America were a bit more difficult for her to tell people that she's beautiful inside. Any other questions? Yes. Let's have a couple of last ones, yes.
Are you Czech?
Are you Czech?
I am Czech. I also wanted to say I'm a big fan. I think you have achieved so much, and I think you are very smart as well. You speak languages, and but I just wondered. So you created this empire, this powerhouse of Eva Herzigova. Like, what motivates you to keep going? And like, you know, is there?
Mortgage.
You need to maintain this status quo.
3 children, insurance, cars, holidays, milk. Sorry, we're answering for her. What else?
all that. And I just love beautiful, I'm an esthetician, I guess. I just like beautiful things. And,
can I interfere? I apologize. I'm sorry. Just, you can't keep Eva home more than 2 weeks, because then it's a wild dog. You can't bear her anymore. So fortunately, she takes more job after.
Fortunately, she takes jobs after a couple of weeks, because it's just terrible to have you home after 2 weeks not working. She's like, please let me go. So that's what motivates her very much, working with her.
yeah, running away. No, I like working, but as I say, it's the creativity.
Right, let's have a last question.
Eva, I've got 2 questions for you. The first one is, what happens when you do a photo shoot and you hate the photographs? Has that ever happened? Do you have any control?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and it did happen, and you kind of try to make a link with someone from the team. Because, you know, photographer is not the only one. It is extremely important because he's the person talking to you, and when he gets on your nerves, I'm just like, put the music loud. So I don't have to deal with it. Yeah, you just kind of close and go into your own world. And, yeah.
My second question is, what's it like being married to an Italian? You don't have to answer it.
It's very dramatic. Is everything dramatic?
No, it's yeah, well, yeah, it's
interesting?
Yeah, it's interesting.
You think about it that long.
No, I mean, but I wouldn't define it as an Italian. I mean, they're just, you know,
Your husband.
Yeah, I know, he's not my husband. He's like, I don't see him as an Italian. I don't know. It gets, you know, a bit difficult when you have to deal with family behind it.
Does he know how lucky he is? Do you think?
Well, I think I'm very lucky, but it's not him. He's Italian. It's like he offered everything that comes from Italy. You know, amazing culture, amazing food, amazing background. You know, he's got great values. He's from Europe. I think there's, you know, the family values. It's just so many things, and he loves women. Me. Not me.
You check on him.
Are you kidding?
When he's in the shower, you read his text.
No. But he loves me. He loves women. I mean, you know,
Sure. I think a lot of people love you as well.
Yeah, no, there are men that don't love women, and you know, he likes to be in company of women, and he gets inspired by women. So that's, I think, it's really nice.
Well, all I can say is that the hour is up, and we have enormously enjoyed it, and you must be one of the one of the prettiest speakers we've ever had. Tomorrow we get somebody much older. Then we get Jeremy Clarkson, who's not exactly Brad Pitt. And then we go on and degenerate into older and more manual people, but there it is. And we at the China Exchange are thrilled. But one last question, because I want to bring a little bit of Chinese element. You've worked in Hong Kong and Shanghai. What do you think of as Chinese?
Well, I said I went only twice. I wish I'd been a little bit more often, but I thought they were extremely aggressive. You know, aggressive in way of thinking, in way of dressing. They were very forward-thinking. In, you know, like they wanted to be dressed in the latest trends, and they're very ambitious people, super ambitious people. And I was in Japan just recently, and I was dealing with the Asian press, and I had a room full of 40 Chinese journalists and a room of Japanese, and you know, there's so many, you can really feel the difference of culture.
But they must find you an extraordinary sight. I mean, your face, your figure doesn't appear that often in China and Japan, right? I mean, you're 6 foot tall, you're blonde, you've got blue eyes, you've got an incredible body. Chinese and Japanese average 5'5". They're always eating so much, they're fat or dumpy. And they've got no possibility of blonde hair and all black eyes. So I think that you should seize on this advantage of being even more of a modest. I think you go back, I think you'll get paid a lot more by Chinese if I was your agent. But anyway, look, ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in thanking, a huge thank you to Eva Herzigova. Thank you.